Lesson 133. Our new word for this lesson is the Latin word for name, which is nomen. And Michael, we already studied this word at the beginning of the book, didn't we?
Yes, a little bit.
When we were talking about Roman names, we talked about the praenomen, the nomen, and the cognomen.
That's right, Bill. We studied this when we looked at the name of Gaius Julius Caesar, or Gaius Julius Caesar. The nomen was the middle name, the tribe name for Julius Caesar's family. But in this book, and when we use Latin today, we typically use nomen more generically to talk about first names.
That's right. It just means, in general, just name, right?
Exactly. And you know what else? It's a good way to get practice with the dative of possession, because there's what we call an idiomatic phrase in Latin that's very common that uses it.
That's right, and we'll talk about that more in a moment. First of all, keep in mind that many English words have this root word embedded in the word, words like nomenclature or nomination.
Right, they're all words that have to do with naming people. A nomination is usually being named for a prize, and nomenclature is a system of names, especially when we talk about the scientific names of animals.
Take note of the fact that this is a neuter noun of the third declension.
But it is not an I stem.
That's right. It's not an I stem, but it is neuter, so the nominative plural form will be nomina. And as Michael was mentioning a moment ago, when you want to say that someone has a certain name, it's good Latin style to use the dative case to express that.
Right. So, for example, I could say, nomen mihi est Meletus.
Which, by the way, is the dative of possession.
Right. And so, Gulielme, quid est nomen tibi?
Nomen mihi est Gulielmus.
Right. Now, some of you might be tempted to use a sentence we have here on the page, nomen meum est Gulielmus. And if you said this, people would understand what you were saying, of course. It's grammatically correct, but it just wasn't a typical way for a Roman to talk, so we try to avoid it.
Right, it's technically not wrong as far as grammar goes. The grammar adds up just fine. It's just not stylistically the way they would have said it or written it in ancient Rome.
Right.
So whenever you're talking about someone having a name, you'll use the dative case to indicate who the name belongs to. For example, we have a sentence here, quid est nomen matri tuae. Okay, so notice that the question is saying, what is the name to your mother or for your mother? That's literally what it's saying. But again, this is the dative of possession. So the way you'll translate this into English is, what is the name of your mother, or what is your mother's name? But again, grammatically, notice that matri is dative.